Olivia knew she was going to die, and she knew she only had herself to blame. The rain poured down upon her as she laid gasping and coughing on the pavement. Next to her, Olivia's car was a twisted wreck. She'd been ejected through the windshield during the crash when another car had come out of nowhere on the rainy highway and run her off the road. Now she lay there, her ribs crushed, her legs broken, just waiting to die. She groaned as car headlights washed over her, forcing her to squint. The person who'd crashed into her had come back. They were going to help. Hello? Olivia groaned as a man and woman got out of the car and strolled over to her. She couldn't believe it. They were none other than Mark and Pamela, her fiancé and best friend. And they had their arms around each other. They were smiling at Olivia as she lay dying on the ground. "Is she dead yet?" Pamela asked. She kicked dirt into Olivia's eyes. "Pamela! Why?" Olivia wailed. "Why not?" her former best friend snorted. "Liv, come on. What did you expect? Did you really think you could beg a man like Mark, someone like you?" "Mark?" Olivia couldn't help crying as she saw him looking at her with such disdain. I thought you loved me." "It's nothing personal, Olivia. I thought marrying you would raise me up in society. I mean, you came from the illustrious Johnson family. What man would resist a meal ticket like that?" "You monster!" she screamed. Mark ignored the insult, continuing his monologue. "Imagine my shock when I realized you were actually just an illegitimate bastard. No real inheritance to speak of, no great connections in society. What was I supposed to do? Be happy to live off scraps for the rest of my life with you?" "Come on, Mark." Pamela kissed his cheek. "Liv's my best friend, after all. I don't want to drag this out too much longer. She deserves a quick death." "I'd hoped the crash would kill you," Mark sighed, "but I need to do this myself, apparently." "You won't get away with it." But Olivia knew in her heart that he probably would. She had no real family or friends left. She'd known a happy home once in her childhood, but that had all changed when she was 16 years old. The Johnsons had taken Olivia from her mother and installed her in their grand, wealthy world with all its rules and guidelines. They drained the life and hope from her a bit at a time. If only she could go back. If only she could fight those monsters again, using all the knowledge she now possessed. If only she could stand up for herself. But Olivia knew that was impossible. You couldn't go back in time. No one got an opportunity to fix their mistakes. She was going to die now, and her whole miserable life would have been worth nothing. Mark crouched next to her. The rain continued to pound down, soaking Olivia through. "Don't worry. I'll make this quick," he whispered. "It'll only hurt for a second." "Please, I can't die like this." Olivia began to hiccup as she cried, feeling more pathetic than ever. "Please, Mark, if you ever loved me, just let me live." "But I never loved you, Liv. Honestly, you're so stupid sometimes." He rolled his eyes at her and stood up. "Pamela and I are getting married, by the way. It'll be a grand ceremony at the Plaza Hotel in New York. Everyone will be there, the Johnsons included, and no one will miss you at all." Olivia screamed his name and Pamela's name as the pair got back into the car. Olivia tried dragging herself out of the way, but between her twisted legs and shattered ribs, there was no way she could move fast enough. The car rolled forward, headed straight for her. "Somebody help me!" Olivia shrieked and screamed, but no one came. The car rolled over her hand, crushing it and her elbow. Her eyes watered with the pain. "If I get a chance to come back," Olivia thought, "I'll make them all pay. Please, God, just give me one more chance. I know people don't get to live their lives over, but just once. Just this once." Then the car rolled over her body, crushing her, and Olivia was plunged into darkness. "Grandma loves you, Olivia." Olivia giggled as her grandmother tucked her into bed. She'd had such a wonderful birthday. She was 9 years old now, a big girl. She'd had a party with chocolate cake, and now she was going to sleep hugging her favorite new doll, Sissy. The rag doll grinned up at Olivia with its red yarn smile. "I love you too, Grandma." Her grandmother kissed Olivia's cheek and started to whisper something in her ear. Olivia giggled again. "Grandma, what are you saying? I don't understand the words." "It's just a little prayer, my darling. It's in another language. That's why you can't understand it." Her grandmother tapped Olivia's nose. "It's to help you out if anything really bad should ever happen to you. It's a way to protect you." "Okay." Olivia smiled as her grandmother recited the strange little prayer into her ear. It made Olivia's eyelids feel heavy, and when her grandmother had finished, Olivia was already yawning. "Good night, sweet girl." Grandma kissed her forehead and shut out the light. "You'll be safe now." "Mm-hmm." Olivia drifted further into sleep. "And if anyone ever harms you," Grandma whispered, "you'll be able to get even. You'll be able to come back and make that monster suffer." Olivia woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. She sat upright in bed, her heart hammering. She was still alive. Her mouth fell open as she touched her cheeks, her hair, her forehead, and lips. It was really still her. Somehow, Mark and Pamela hadn't killed her with their car. Maybe someone had come up upon them in the nick of time. "I must be in a hospital or something," Olivia murmured. But when she glanced at her surroundings, she realized that wasn't the case at all. The room she was in was both alien and so familiar. The walls were papered a friendly yellow, the furniture was varnished white, the paint a little chipped after years of use. The quilt on top of her was handmade and fraying at the seams a bit. She touched something beside her, something familiar. Olivia was shocked when she pulled a doll out from under the blankets. "Sissy," she whispered. There was no doubt whatsoever. This was her old rag doll. Sissy's red yarn smile had unraveled over the years, and one of the doll's button eyes had gone missing. But it was her. Somehow, Olivia had gone from dying on the roadside to awakening in her childhood bedroom. Shaking, she flung the covers aside and staggered to the mirror over her dresser. It was her. Her face, her hair, her pajamas. Except that this person was a girl, not a woman. It was Olivia as she had been 11 years ago, when she was only 16. The same brown eyes, the same curly red hair. "What's going on?" she whispered. There was a knock at the door. "Livy, honey, are you up?" a woman's familiar voice asked. At the sound, Olivia almost collapsed to the floor. "Mom?" she cried. The door opened and her mother was standing there, beaming at Olivia, as if this was the most natural thing in the world. As if her mother hadn't died 10 years ago. As if the whole wretched course of Olivia's life had just been a bad dream. "Morning, sweetie. Breakfast is ready. It's not like you to oversleep." Her mother's smile faded. "Liv? Honey, what's wrong?" Sobbing, Olivia flung herself into her mother's arms. "I'm so happy to see you." She hugged her mother so tight. "Are you sure this isn't a dream?" "Sweetheart, you're scaring me a little." Her mother tightened the embrace. "I know you've had a hard time recently, but you can't let it get to you like this." Instantly, Olivia knew what she was talking about. She'd taken her prep school entrance exams for scholarship candidates and had done very poorly. So poorly that she'd been afraid her life was over before it had even begun. Teenage Olivia had been sulking in her room for almost a week. "It's okay, Mom. I just missed you is all," she sniffled. "Well, thank you. But I saw you just last night. Are you sure you're feeling okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine." She'd done it. Somehow, Olivia realized she'd managed to get exactly what she wished for. She must have died and been sent back to her old life to start again. For whatever reason, she was being given this second chance. She wouldn't waste it. She'd never leave her mother's side again. The doorbell rang downstairs. "Let me see who it is." Olivia's mother left her standing there, rubbing sleep from her eyes. She had to sit down on the bed. Her knees were shaking so terribly. "You're okay, Olivia," she said to herself. "Everything's okay now." But then her shoulders tensed when Olivia heard a man's voice downstairs. The voice was deep and resonant, and it set her on edge right away. While her mother spoke with the man, Olivia crept out of her room and stood beside the staircase, listening. "I don't think now is such a good time," her mother said. She didn't sound happy with the visitor. "She just woke up from a bad nightmare. I'm trying to keep her calm." "I assure you, I'm here to help the young lady," the man said. His voice was faintly snobby, like he'd spent too much time watching movies about the English upper classes. "Mr. Johnson is very serious about being allowed to spend time with his own daughter." Olivia's stomach tightened. The memories came flooding back as if on a tidal wave, wrecking her and washing her away. The man downstairs was named Hector Pugh, the Johnsons' family's oldest and most faithful servant. There was only one reason he'd come to this house: to take Olivia away from her mother and install her into the Johnson family's household. To her horror, Olivia realized that her past was happening all over again. She was going to be taken from her mother's house, taken from her happiest childhood memories. She was going to be hurt and humiliated and betrayed all over again. Except this time, she wouldn't let them do it to her. She had to change the past in order to fix her future, and she needed to do it now. While Hector continued speaking icily with her mother, Olivia charged down the stairs. "Livy, what's wrong?" her mother cried. Hector, a tall, graying man in his late 50s, regarded Olivia with half-lidded curiosity. "Young lady, whatever's the matter?" he asked. "I'm not going anywhere with you." Olivia pointed a finger at him in a threatening manner. "I won't have anything to do with the Johnsons, and if you try to force me, I swear I'll kill you." "Olivia, what's the matter with you?" Her mother looked horrified as Hector Pugh sneered. "Humph, I can tell that the young lady has been raised in a most ruthless manner," he said. Olivia wanted to tell him to shut up, but her mother was already holding and rocking her. "Do I need to take you to the hospital? Is something wrong with your nerves?" Her mother sounded fearful. "I'm okay, Mom. Just don't leave me, okay?" Olivia had wished and wished for over a decade that she'd be able to hug her mother again. She felt safe for the first time in years, and she never wanted to let go again. "I must confess, I'm a bit confused. How did the girl know I was coming?" Hector asked. "You must have been telling her tales about Mr. Johnson and his family." He sounded disapproving. Crap! Olivia realized he was right. The first time he'd come here, the first time they'd met, Olivia had been shocked to realize she had a father. She'd been pleased to meet Hector. "My past is replaying itself," she realized. "Only this time, I know how everything ends. This time, maybe I can rig the game in my favor." Mom never told me anything," Olivia muttered. "I just put things together over the years." "Indeed." Hector seemed unconvinced. "Regardless, you've hit upon the reason for my visit, miss. Your father, Michael Johnson, wishes for you to come and live with his family at the Johnson estate." "Why now?" Olivia growled. She'd never honestly figured this part out, not in 10 long years. Why does he want me now that I'm almost grown? "Perhaps he wants to make up for lost time," Hector sneered. "Perhaps he was hoping you would be less wild by now. I suppose some people are just born like that." "Don't speak to my daughter that way, Mr. Pugh. I'm grateful Mike has taken an interest, but I won't let you insult Olivia like that." Her mother sounded protective, and Olivia felt herself glow with pride. "Very well, Miss Park. Miss Johnson, you should know that it would be foolish to refuse your father this request." "I don't care. Olivia would never leave this house again. She'd chain herself to the floor if she had to. If you consent to be taken in as a member of the family, you'll receive a new wardrobe, lessons in etiquette, introductions into the best society, and, Hector said, gesturing to her mother, Miss Park will have all her debts paid off. What's more, she'll be given an ample stipend on which to live. She'll never have to work another day in her life. Olivia's breath caught in her throat. She didn't give a damn about dresses or society parties, but she cared about her mother. Ever since she was little, Olivia's mother had worked multiple jobs at terrible hours just to feed and clothe her daughter. She'd always been just behind on rent, on bills, on everything. Even though their home was filled with love, it was also able to topple over at any minute. If Olivia could make sure her mother lived in comfort forever, wasn't that worth any price? I don't know, she said at last. What's more, Mr. Johnson is aware you recently took entrance examinations at the Marshall School. He's learned that you did not perform well enough to gain admission. I've been tired. Olivia scowled. I've had to study for my own school, work part-time jobs, and study for the entrance exams. You can't expect a person to do well on no sleep. If you agree to live with him, Mr. Johnson will ensure you gain admission to the Marshall School. It's only the finest college prep school in the country, and it won't cost you or your mother a penny. What do you say to that? Olivia remembered her days at the Marshall School very clearly. It was where she'd learned to keep her head down because the rich girls relentlessly bullied her. It was where she'd first met her best friend, Pamela Cox, who went on to help murder her 10 years later. Her body froze. No, she gritted her teeth. It felt like something inside her was going to snap. I'm not going, do you hear me? I'll never go with him. Livy, we need to think about this, her mother whispered. Your father can do so many good things for you, sweetie. Dad dumped you and me and ran off with another woman, Olivia cried. He let you raise me in poverty for almost 17 years. Why should you want anything to do with him now? As she yelled those last few words, the sound of breaking glass came out of the living room. Hector and the two women were startled and ran in to see what had broken. It was the mirror hanging above the fireplace. It was broken into shards of silvery glass, as if someone had smashed their fist into it. Olivia trembled. She'd just been thinking about breaking something, thinking about smashing Hector's face like a mirror. What the hell? She murmured. Mr. Pugh, please let me discuss this with my daughter. We need time to think it over before we give Mike a decision. Her mother immediately went to get a broom and dustpan to sweep up the glass. Yes, Olivia said. Tell my father I need to think. Of course, miss, Hector said. Then, what a little tramp this girl is. It's hard to believe she's Michael Johnson's daughter. What did you just call me? Olivia snapped. Did you call me a tramp? Hector looked pale with shock. No, miss, I would never do such a thing. How the devil did she hear that? Did I accidentally say it out loud? Olivia could hear the man's voice in her head, but his lips didn't move. She realized, amazed, that she was reading his very thoughts. I'll have to be more careful around her in the future. Gutter snipes like this one can be extremely cunning. At least I was right about you being an asshole. Olivia couldn't stop herself. Now get out of here and tell my father I'll think about his offer. But if I see you around again, I might just accidentally kick you in the balls. Understand, Mr. Pugh? The servant looked furious and also afraid. Perhaps she's a witch. That would be just my luck. Of course, miss, he said, giving her a bow. I shall return tomorrow to collect your answer, and you, hopefully. With that, he left. Olivia helped her mother clean up the broken glass, her thoughts whirring. Apparently, she had come back with more than just her memories of the future. She had strange abilities now. She could hear people's thoughts, and she could smash things with her mind if she grew angry enough. Olivia realized that with those strange new powers, she could do a great deal of damage to people like the Johnsons. Liv, are you all right? Her mother stroked her hair. Mom, maybe I was being too hasty. Maybe I ought to take up Mr. Johnson. take up Dad on his offer. Only if you're sure it's what you want. Her mother hugged Olivia. I couldn't stand to lose my little girl if I didn't think it would make her happy. Olivia thought of all the terrible people waiting for her in this new life, and all the terrible things she could do to make them pay. She couldn't stop smiling. I think I'll be happy, Mom. I think I'll be very happy. I don't want her in the house. I don't want to meet her. Monica Johnson stamped her feet, acting more like a 5-year-old child than a 15-year-old girl. Mother, do you hear me? I don't want her here. She's your half-sister, Rachel Johnson said. She put down her teacup and paid full attention to her furious daughter. Your father has a responsibility to her and to her mother. Daddy knocked up some slut and then picked you over her? Monica pouted. You're the one he chose, not her. She doesn't have any rights. Rachel liked to live with elegance and grace. The Johnson mansion had become a tasteful paradise under her expert eye, and she detested vulgarity. Monica, while brought up to be a perfect young lady, was also a brat when she didn't get her way. Rachel looked forward to the day Monica matured a bit. Your father is a good man for wanting to help, and he does want a relationship with Olivia. She's his daughter too, Monica. She's your blood. I bet she'll stink up the whole house. Poor people don't carry a permanent smell, Monica. Once she's bathed and properly dressed, Olivia will look as much a member of this family as you do. Monica's cheeks turned red with fury. She'll never be a part of this family, do you hear me? With that, the girl rushed out of the room and up the stairs. She'd sulk for the rest of the day, unless someone went up there to pet and console her, or give her a present. Rachel sighed as Hector Pugh and Michael, her husband, entered the room. I take it that didn't go very well? Michael looked sympathetic. Rachel came over and kissed her husband's cheek. It's my fault. I've allowed Monica to become spoiled, she sighed. Honestly, the way she spoke about Victoria and Olivia made me so guilty. You have nothing to feel guilty about. Michael looked adoringly at her. You're the most selfless woman who ever lived. But you and Victoria were engaged. When she got pregnant, I should have stepped aside. Victoria was my best friend after all. I'm the reason her life got derailed. It's my fault for pursuing you. Rachel pretended to fight back tears. Michael believed her performance totally. Once you came into my life, Victoria ceased to exist. She's been too proud over the years, refusing to ask for any help. Well, she's kept my daughter from me for long enough. Wouldn't you agree, Hector? Indeed, sir. Though I might warn you that the child was clearly raised in hatred. The servant sniffed. She's an angry, possibly violent little monster. Monica will just love that, Michael grumbled. But we can't let that stop us. Olivia deserves a good life as a member of our family. Rachel hugged Michael. I want to do something for her. I'll be heartbroken if she remains a stranger. She's not just your daughter. She's Victoria's too. Even if Victoria hates me now, I'll always think of her as my best friend. You are a credit, ma'am. If you don't mind me saying, Hector looked proud to serve her. Michael kissed Rachel. Don't worry. We'll make this work. I can't wait. I'm going to be a second mother to Olivia. Wait and see. Her husband chuckled and began speaking with Hector about the Marshall School. While the men chatted, Rachel walked away. The simpering, sweet-natured smile shifted, turning into a grin of bitter deceit. Poor little Olivia. She thinks she's had it rough up until now. She has no idea what's in store. Taking out Victoria in order to marry Michael hadn't been too difficult, but Michael's daughter was something else. Michael was a good man. Stupid, but good. He'd surely come to love his firstborn. And what would that mean for Monica's future? I'll be the perfect stepmother, Rachel thought. Everyone will see how much I dote on precious little Olivia. And then, when everyone is convinced of how much I love her, I'll burn that girl's future to ashes. The next day, Olivia was coming back from the market alongside her mother. They were carrying bags of groceries, thinking about what to make for dinner that night. Oh! Victoria stopped when she saw a sleek black Mercedes parked just outside their apartment building. Oh, it must be him. "Dear old Dad," Olivia muttered. "Please try to be civil. He can do a lot of good for you." The women walked to the front entrance, where a tall man with graying hair was waiting. Olivia had mixed feelings when she saw him. In her past life, Michael Johnson had never been abusive. He'd given her the opportunities he promised, even if he hadn't really known how to be a dad. But he wasn't the real enemy. Rachel, the stepmother, was the one Olivia truly had to watch out for. "Are you my father?" Olivia asked, despite knowing the answer. "You must be Olivia." He held out his hand to shake. He was as stiff and awkward around emotions as she remembered. For her mother's sake, Olivia shook the man's hand. "Come inside, I'll make some tea." Victoria hurried to unlock the door. Soon after, they were all seated at the kitchen table. Olivia hadn't touched her cup, but Michael sipped at his. He made a face. "Is something wrong with the tea?" Olivia asked. No, it must be the tap water." "Well, we don't have a fancy filtration system here. I'm sure rich person water tastes much better." "Livy," her mother sounded gentle but serious. "Please be nice." "Hector mentioned you had a chip on your shoulder," Michael said. "Hector wasn't polite. He insulted me and my mom." Olivia shrugged. "I don't think you should just let people walk all over you." Victoria looked surprised. Olivia remembered that her old self, the real 16-year-old Olivia, had been gentle and meek. Well, that girl was long dead. "I like to see you have a little spirit," Michael said. "But a little goes a long way. Is that it, Daddy?" "What's gotten into you?" Victoria whispered. "It's all right, Vicky. She has every right to be angry with me." Her father looked almost embarrassed. "I never meant to walk away from you both, Olivia. That was your mother's choice, as much as it was mine." "Are you really going to blame Mom for having to raise me all by herself?" Olivia snapped. "I didn't come here to fight." "Well, maybe a fight is what you're going to get." "Olivia Jane Johnson, you will go up to your room if you don't behave yourself." Victoria looked horrified, and that made Olivia feel awful. The last thing she wanted to do was make her mother look like a bad parent in front of Michael. "I'm sorry, Dad." She looked down. "I think I'm just a little freaked out by all this." "It's perfectly natural," Michael said. "I should have come here the first time myself anyway. It was a mistake to ask Hector. It probably felt like I was giving you orders or trying to negotiate a business deal." "A little bit, yeah." "All I want to give you is a leg up in life, Olivia. Your mother's kept me up to date over the years, you know. I get reports now and again. I know you're a bright girl, that you want to go to a good college. I can help make that happen for you. I can make your mother's life easy and comfortable. I feel guilty for missing out on most of your childhood, and I'd like to fix it whenever I can. Would you let me try?" Olivia had to admit Michael was doing a better job on the trying to be a dad thing the second time around. Maybe being a little pushy had its advantages. She'd shocked him into being nicer. "Could you remind me again what you're going to do for us?" Olivia asked. "Your mother will be given a house totally paid for, along with a car. She'll have all her debts paid off and a generous monthly allowance. She'll never have to work again, and she can have nice things. As for you, you'll have access to all that my money and name can do for you. I know you tried to get into the Marshall School recently. Well, I can make that happen with a single phone call, and it won't cost you or Victoria a penny. Does that sound good?" The Marshall School. A memory washed over Olivia. Meeting Pamela for the first time, laughing and exchanging secrets over lunch in the school quad, starting a fast friendship. And then she remembered Pamela kicking dirt in her face, getting into a car and running Olivia over. crushing the life out of her. The memory of pain was so visceral she could practically still feel it. Olivia shoved away from the table, sloshing the tea. "Honey, what is it?" Victoria cried. Olivia wanted to tell him to get out and never bother her again. She wanted to run upstairs and hide in her room with Sissy and never come out again. But she'd been thinking this over since last night. If I don't go with them, Rachel can still find ways to make my life hell. She can still go after my mom. The only way to save my future is to change my past completely. I have to go to the Johnsons' mansion and fight back on my own terms. Olivia knew she had to leave her mother again, even though she'd just gotten Victoria back. The thought made her want to cry, but she had to be brave. She had to be tougher than the people she was fighting. "I was just thinking," she told Michael. "Yes." "Yes?" He looked surprised. "Yes, I want to come live with you. I don't want to be angry about the past anymore." "Livy, do you really mean that?" Her mother looked softly overjoyed. At least Olivia was making somebody happy. "I do. I'll come with you, Dad." Michael was relieved. Olivia went upstairs and packed a suitcase, letting her mother fuss about what to take and what to leave behind. "You won't need many clothes. Your father will see to it you have a whole new wardrobe." Victoria sniffed, wiping her tears. "I hope you'll be allowed to come see me." "I'll make sure of it. There'll be no deal otherwise," Olivia said. "When did my little girl become so strong?" Victoria hugged Olivia and stroked her hair. "I'm so proud of you, Livy. Always remember how much I love you." "I love you too, Mom." Olivia wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting for Victoria too. She thought about taking Sissy along, but left the doll on the bed. Sissy belonged in Olivia's happy past. The new Olivia needed to be tough. Olivia buckled up and waved at her mother through the window as Michael drove off. They sat in total silence for a while. Olivia fidgeted with the radio and the air conditioning to give herself something to do. Michael looked like he was sitting on a tack. The pain in his face showed how much he didn't know what to do. "So, thanks for coming to get me," Olivia said at last. "I hope you'll like your new home. Rachel is thrilled she'll get to meet you." Yes, Olivia thought, and I can't wait to meet Rachel again. That bitch doesn't know what's coming her way. "And your sister Monica is, also excited to meet you." "Great." But Olivia knew Monica hated her. This time, the feeling was mutual. She leaned back in the seat and tried to listen to Michael's thoughts. "I don't know how to do this," the man thought to himself. "Victoria could have thrown the offer in my face, but she was kind. I was too hard on her in the past. I know I can never make up for all the bad things I've done to them." For the first time, Olivia was surprised. She'd never expected that Michael would have some actual decent feelings. "It's not your fault, Dad," she said. "Huh? What's not my fault?" Idiot. She needed to be smarter about this mind-reading thing. "I was just thinking you looked nervous. You said you felt guilty. I know you're not really the one to blame here." "Oh?" He frowned. "Then who is?" The answer was easy. Rachel. Olivia knew that horrible woman had stolen her father right out from under Victoria's nose. Rachel was the reason Olivia had grown up without a dad. The reason Victoria's life had been one of poverty and hardship. Rachel was the reason Olivia's old life had been a train wreck. Olivia had spent her previous life blaming Michael for her woes. But that wasn't fair. Michael wasn't evil. He was just stupid and easily led. No one's really to blame," Olivia said. "Sometimes things just happen. You should learn to make the best of it, you know?" "That's a very mature attitude." He seemed impressed. "Well, you get some of that maturity from me, I think." Olivia resisted cackling at the idea. She was learning to be smarter. They drove out of the town she'd called home her entire life. Olivia watched the old houses and storefronts pass with a sad eye. Hopefully, she'd be back one day. Michael drove them out into the countryside. past rolling green hills and quaint little villages. Eventually, the road turned up a steep incline. The Johnson mansion was on top of a large hill, with acres of wood making up the perimeter. It was an isolated little town. As they drove closer to the house, Olivia's stomach tightened. "Don't be nervous," Michael said. "Everyone's going to love you." "What a lie." "I'm sure," she replied. They pulled through the wrought iron gates and drove up the winding driveway. The mansion appeared ahead, 3 menacing stories. Michael parked the car in front of the house. A servant rushed to open the door, take the luggage, and drive the car back to the garage. Olivia got out and gazed up at the imposing facade. When she'd been an actual child, this place had looked like a fairy tale come true. Now, she only saw a prison. At least it was a luxurious prison. "Come on." Michael took her by the arm. "I want you to meet your stepmother and sister." He led her up the front steps and into the grand front hall of the house. The black and white tiled floors echoed with their footsteps, and high above the exquisite crystal chandelier that had been in the family for generations gave soft illumination. "It looks like I remembered," Olivia thought. "Michael? Is this her?" a woman asked. The voice was familiar, and so hateful Olivia felt her flesh crawl. "Olivia, meet your stepmother, Rachel Johnson." Michael coaxed her forward. Olivia wore a fake smile as she went to meet the woman. Rachel was as beautiful and elegant as ever. She dressed in a red evening gown with long sleeves, diamonds twinkling at her neck, wrists, and ears. She looked like a goddess, even though she was really a devil. "Olivia, I'm so happy you're finally home." The woman gave a large fake smile. Rachel was a good actress. If Olivia hadn't known she was a monster, she would have believed the woman to be sincere. "Thanks, it feels good to be here," Olivia said. She cast a casual glance at the crystal chandelier and imagined how, with a bit of her new power, that thing could come crashing down and crush Rachel into paste. Yes, Olivia grinned. She was definitely going to like it here. Olivia followed her stepmother down the hall to the library. The family often met there in the evenings to relax in each other's company. Olivia knew who would be assembled before she even walked in. Sure enough, there was an old man in a dinner jacket dozing before the fire in a wing chair. Seated on the love seat next to him was a teenage girl, just a year younger than Olivia herself. Monica. The bratty teen was dressed in pearls and a pink sweater set, her golden hair curled. Rachel always insisted that her daughter looked like a perfect young lady. "Oh, is this her?" Monica got to her feet when Olivia entered. The girl wore an unconvincing fake smile. "Hi, Olivia. It's so nice to meet you." "You must be my sister." Olivia felt smug as she forced Monica to embrace her. She knew the other girl was fuming. Monica always hated being called Olivia's sister. "I think we're going to be best friends." "How nice," Rachel smiled. Olivia listened to her thoughts. "If that little tramp thinks she can treat my daughter like an equal, I'll rip out her guts." Olivia walked over to the old man. He looked up at her from beneath bushy eyebrows and cleared his throat. "You must be my granddaughter," he said. "Yes, hi, Grandpa. It's nice to meet you at last." Olivia kept up her smiling routine. "I never even knew I had a grandfather. Isn't it a shame you never came to visit all these years?" Her grandfather, Jack Johnson, harumphed and glared at the fire. Olivia knew he'd been instrumental in bringing her to the family mansion, but only because he wanted to make certain the Johnson blood wasn't running wild. Jack only saw her as an asset to manage, not as a real person. She decided to ignore him from now on. "We'll have the servants take your luggage to your room," Rachel said. "I hope you don't mind if we go through dinner right now. Normally, we'd have finished eating by now, but we were so anxious to see if you'd come home or not. Really, I'm so glad you finally decided to join us, Olivia. Your poor father's been upset for almost 2 whole days. trying to get you to give us a chance." Olivia smirked. This was the exact same speech Rachel had made her first time at the Johnson house. Olivia then had felt like a terrible person for making people worry and forcing them to hold dinner for her. She wanted to cry and had tried to be as sweet and thoughtful as she could. She'd sat there and endured Rachel and Monica's catty comments, saving her tears for when she retired to her bedroom. "Well," Olivia said, determined to play things out differently this time, "I suppose being convinced to leave my mother and my home took a couple of tries. I'm a reasonable person after all. It'd be crazy if I'd simply jumped into the Mercedes the minute Dad turned up, wouldn't it?" "It would," Michael said. "You're right, Olivia. We all should respect what a difficult transition this is going to be for you." "Well, not too difficult, I hope." Rachel's plastered-on smile was faltering. "After all, it's not like you're living in a coal mine. You're staying in the grandest house in the state, with a whole family that's only ready to be loving and attentive. A girl would have to be very spoiled and maladjusted to act like joining us was a hardship. And I know you're nothing like that, Olivia." "You're right," Olivia said with ease. "I'm not. I've never been spoiled a day in my life." Rachel looked increasingly like she had no idea what to do. Michael chuckled and put an arm around Olivia's shoulders. It felt nice, like he was being a real father to her. "Too right. Let's all have dinner, shall we? Like a real family," he said. They went downstairs and entered the long dining room. The evening meal was delicious. Roast salmon and saffron rice and a tangy lemon sauce. Olivia knew that the Johnsons had an amazing cook and was determined to enjoy herself even more this time. Several servants in black and white uniforms waited along the sides of the room while the family ate. "Are you going to be enrolling in the Marshall School?" Monica asked. She'd stopped pretend smiling a while ago and now regarded Olivia like an enemy. "That's where I go, you know." "Dad said he'd help me get into the school. I can't wait to go. It's like a dream come true," Olivia said. "Yes, we're glad to pull strings to help you succeed, Olivia." Rachel ate a forkful of asparagus. "Sad when you think of all the hard-working young people who wanted to go to the Marshall School but couldn't. I'm sure they all have excellent grades and perfect test scores. But life isn't fair, is it? Sometimes it's who you know that matters most." Olivia knew that Rachel was trying to make her feel guilty. That had been Rachel's favorite way to get at Olivia back in the day. She'd made Olivia feel stupid, mean-spirited, cowardly, and spoiled. "You're right, Auntie Rachel, life isn't fair," Olivia spoke pleasantly. "After all, my mom was engaged to Dad when she got pregnant with me. I should have grown up in the Johnson mansion. But then you and Dad fell in love instead, and that wasn't in the cards. I'm not angry about that, of course. I wouldn't have wanted you to miss out on falling in love just because my mother got there first. Then Monica wouldn't exist." Michael lowered his head, clearly embarrassed. "She's right, Rachel. I think it's wonderful how mature and forgiving Liv and Victoria have been throughout all this." "Liv?" Monica growled. She looked like her father had done something obscene. "You're giving her nicknames now, Daddy?" "Why shouldn't I? She's my daughter, your sister." Olivia felt a strange flush of warmth towards her father. She hadn't realized before how much Michael truly wanted to make this arrangement work. "I'm just confused you decided to call me Auntie Rachel." Olivia's stepmother was struggling to contain her temper. "I didn't ask you to do that, my dear." "Oh, I'm sorry. Should I call you Mom then?" Olivia made certain to sound as simple and sincere as possible. Monica looked like she was about to throw up. "Calling me Mom wouldn't be fair to your own mother, would it?" "I guess you're right, so Auntie Rachel's okay then, yeah?" Rachel seemed at a loss for what to do. "I suppose, yes." Already, Olivia was making serious progress. She was winning her father to her side and putting Rachel and Monica in their places. Olivia noticed some of the servants exchanging glances while the family ate dinner. "She's a little piece of trash," a man's voice whispered in Olivia's head. She was listening in on his thoughts and quickly picked him out as the tall, dark-haired servant waiting near the door. She recognized him. Richard, one of the people at the Johnson house who'd made her life true hell. How can Mr. Johnson treat her well when he has an angel like Miss Monica already? Poor Miss Monica. Poor Mrs. Johnson. I wish they didn't have to eat with filth like this. Olivia didn't have much to do. She imagined taking the man's testicles in an invisible, vice-like grip. Then she imagined twisting them hard to the right. Her powers did not fail her. Richard yelped and bent over, clasping his hands over his genitals while he fell to his knees on the floor. "Oh, whatever is the matter?" Rachel cried. Olivia released the man's testicles as quickly as she'd mentally grabbed them, and no one suspected her of a thing. As the servants helped Richard to his feet and whispered to ask what had happened, she helped herself to more salmon. By the time dinner was finished and dessert had been served, Olivia was starting to get a little sleepy. She yawned, covering her mouth with her hand. "Poor thing. You ought to rest up, Liv. There'll be plenty of time to discuss future plans tomorrow," her father said. He looked kindly at her. She felt her heart soften towards him a little bit more. "Thanks, Dad. I look forward to it." "We'll have a servant show you to your room," Rachel said. Instantly, Olivia looked over at Richard, who's recovered from his brief moment of ball crushing and looked ready to start clearing the plates from the table. "Okay, come on then." Olivia put her napkin down and stood, walking up to the young man with an easy stride. "Show me." I have to help with dinner cleanup, miss." He looked baffled and nervous, obviously wondering why he should be singled out. "After you had a hernia? Or whatever it was that happened to you?" Olivia scoffed. "I think it'll be a lot easier for you to show me the way to my room than it'll be to lift and carry stacks of plates." "That's very thoughtful of you." Michael sounded delighted. "I told you, Rachel, didn't I? Olivia's a real gem." "She's too precious," Rachel replied. "She gets to do whatever she wants." Monica sounded quietly furious, while Jack, their grandfather, had long since fallen asleep over his dinner. Olivia followed Richard up the carpeted stairs, taking a glance at her old room with new eyes. It was even more beautiful now that Olivia wasn't scared of the place. Paintings of ancestors from 200 years ago watched Olivia as she wandered past. "Mrs. Johnson picked this room out especially for you, Miss Olivia. She hopes you'll like it," Richard said as he bowed her into the room. Rachel had given Olivia one of the larger but more miserable bedrooms in the mansion. It was tucked in the far back of the house and got almost no natural light. The windows were narrow, and trees loomed outside, plunging the whole chamber into shadow. Olivia smirked as she went and sat on the bed. She bounced a couple of times. At least the mattress was as cushy as she remembered. "Will there be anything else?" Richard asked. Look at her, sitting there so smug and pleased with herself, he thought. Poor Miss Monica. "You've always been fond of Miss Monica, haven't you, Richard?" Olivia asked. What?" The servant's face paled. It must seem unfair for a poor, dirty, trashy nobody like me to waltz into the illustrious Johnson house and take over Miss Monica's spotlight. Doesn't it seem that way, Richard? "It's not my place to have an opinion," he frowned. "Sorry, I don't remember giving you my name." "Richard Corse, did I get it right?" Olivia grinned when he looked weak with fright. "Excellent. I've always been good at guessing games. Yes, good night." He turned around, ready to bolt out of the room. With her mental powers, Olivia slammed the door in his face as he made to exit. "Damn!" he cried. "Let's get something straight right now, shall we?" Olivia said. "I'm the master's daughter. You're just some nobody who does the dishes. You don't ever look down on me. You will only ever address me respectfully from this moment on. You call me Miss Johnson and nothing else, got it, Richard?" Yes." He looked like he was about to faint. "Good. And one more thing. If you ever think hateful, nasty thoughts about me and my mother ever again, I'll do more than twist your nuts. I'll rip them off." The servant pressed his back to the door. He looked at Olivia like she was the devil himself. She knew he wouldn't tell this story to anyone. People would think he was crazy and fire him. But Olivia could tell he believed her. "I'm sorry," he squeaked. "I don't care if you're sorry. I just want you to understand me. So, am I understood? Yes, Miss Johnson, I understand. Good. Now get out of my room. Richard bolted out the door and ran down the hallway. Olivia stretched out on her bed and smiled up at the ceiling. Yes, no doubt about it. She would really, really like it here. Olivia tried to listen to Richard's thoughts as he ran away. She frowned as she got only a couple of words. Monster. She's scared to death. And then there was only silence. Olivia realized that these powers might not be as strong as she wanted. As another test, she tried to use her mental power to shut the door again. This time, she only managed to push it halfway before the power gave out. She felt a little flushed and sweaty now, rather lightheaded, as though she'd run 10 miles without eating anything. Apparently I'm not invincible, she murmured. Olivia wiped sweat from her brow. I'll have to be more selective regarding when and how I use my gifts. After all, she wasn't sure how she'd been reborn in the first place, or why she'd been given a second chance. She needed to conserve all her options and energy until she knew exactly what she was going to do. Olivia stood and went to the window, looking out at the dark branches of the trees. The leaves were beginning to turn red and gold at the tips. School would be starting in just 9 days. She'd be accepted into the Marshall School. She already knew that. Then her torment at the hands of all those mean girls would really begin. Olivia would try to sit with them at lunch, only to be bluntly told she had to walk away. She'd open her locker to find it filled with junk, or letters telling her how much everybody hated her and wished she'd go away. Olivia would want to die every day as she felt their condescending gazes roam over her. I heard she was a bastard. I heard her father didn't even want her. I heard he only took her in because her mother went to prison and no one else would look after her. Olivia remembered all of that pain, all of those insults. The thought made her blood boil. Hi, I'm Pamela. Then another memory bloomed, one showing Olivia her former best friend's smiling face. It was the first time they'd met properly. What a coincidence. I usually sit at this table. Can I join you? Olivia had been so grateful to see a friendly face. She thought Pamela would be her best friend forever. And then she remembered the crushing pain as the car ran her over. I hate you, Olivia hissed, thinking of Pamela. Michael stood in the doorway. Liv, are you all right? I'm just talking to myself a little, I guess. Sorry, I get nervous sometimes. You don't have to apologize. I know this is very new. Michael approached her, and Olivia realized things were already happening differently this time. In the past, Rachel had been the one to come to Olivia's room after dinner. Maybe that meant the future was already starting to change. Michael seemed far more interested in Olivia than he ever had before. I couldn't help overhearing, Michael said. Did you say you hated someone? Look, I know that dinner wasn't the easiest way to make an entrance. You need to give Monica time. She's so young, and she's basically lived as an only child her whole life. I don't hate Monica. Olivia meant it, too. She didn't hate Monica. She just didn't care at all about her. Your stepmother, then? I could see you two didn't become fast friends. I'm sure she's trying her best, Olivia muttered. Rachel wants things to work out. She was one of the biggest champions of you coming to live with us. Yeah, when she's not making passive-aggressive comments about my mom and the way I was raised, she seems very happy to see me. Michael frowned, but he didn't argue with Olivia. Perhaps in this life, he was starting to see Rachel for the cruel woman she truly was. I think Rachel feels a little judged. She thinks you hate her because she stole me away from your mother. Bingo, Olivia thought. Great work, Dad. You'd make a genius detective. I'm the one who left her whole life behind to come here. Rachel could be a little nicer. Michael sighed and put his hands in his pockets. Maybe, but I need you to meet her halfway, Liv. Please, for your mom's sake as well as mine. For her mother, Olivia would do anything. She softened. "I'll try if she will," she said at last. "That's my girl," Michael beamed. "Oh, by the way, I already got in contact with the Marshall School. They've confirmed your acceptance. You'll be going there beginning the week after next. I'm sure you'll have a wonderful time, Olivia. The future is going to be filled with promise for you." Her throat swelled shut. Olivia realized that there were tears in her eyes. She'd never expected that Michael would be so happy to take care of her. "Thanks, Dad. I'll make you proud, I swear." "I don't doubt it. Oh, and here." He took a blue plastic credit card out of his pocket and laid it on her bedside table. "This is for you. I think you should be allowed to get yourself some little luxuries." "Thanks." Olivia was delighted. "Don't forget, you need to do well in school or your allowance gets cut." He tried to look stern with her. "If you keep doing well, we'll increase the monthly limit. I'm starting you out small. $5,000 a month." That was more money in 1 month than Olivia had ever had to herself in her entire life. She almost started cackling. "Wow, thanks. I'll see if I can manage on that small amount," she drawled. "Well, unpack and get some rest." He looked like he wanted to give her a hug, but Michael eventually decided against it and left. Olivia picked up the card and studied it. He'd had it printed with her name and everything. Olivia J. Johnson gleamed up at her in gold letters. One thing was for sure. She was going to have some fun burning a lot of cash. Yes, she was going to be like a phoenix, rising from the ashes of her old, dead life. She was about to soar. "How's the girl doing?" Jack asked as Michael entered the library. Michael's father was drinking a glass of port wine. He didn't seem interested in Olivia, but Michael answered him anyway. "I think she's settling in nicely." "Huh. She's not as sweet or as pretty as Monica." Jack sipped his wine. "She's my daughter. She's a Johnson. You all can't keep ganging up on her like that," Michael said, feeling annoyed. "I've never ganged up on anyone. I was the one who said you should bring the kid here in the first place, wasn't I? Did you get that Marshall School business sorted out?" "I did." Michael poured himself some wine and sat across from his father. "Are you sure you're ready to tell the world about Olivia?" Jack asked. He didn't sound pleased by the idea. "Yes, I am. She's one of us, Dad. We Johnsons stick together. Hopefully she'll be more polite with good society." Jack frowned at the fire. "I get the feeling things are about to change, Mike, but I don't like it. It doesn't feel right." "Of course things are going to change. Things always change. That's how the universe works." Michael swallowed the last of his port and rose. "Good night, Dad." "One more question," Jack said. "The Jones family." Michael was wary. "What about them?" "Are they going forward with the engagement? They're not backing out, are they?" "I've been in contact with them," Michael said. "They've agreed to go through with it." "Good. All right, you can go now. Sleep well." Michael sighed and headed out of the room. Meanwhile, over at Newark Airport, a man deboarded a private jet. He was tanned and handsome, with a square jaw and dirty blonde hair. He wore a white button-up shirt with the top of the collar undone and carried a black suit jacket draped over his arm. As he crossed the tarmac to a black town car, he knew that the people nearby were whispering about him. He was so good-looking and so confident that people were certain he must be a movie star, even if they'd never seen him in anything. "Mr. Jones." A dark-suited woman stood outside of the town car and waved to him. "Over here." "Vera, hello." He casually strolled over and handed her his jacket while she opened the back seat of the car for him. "I'm surprised you're back in New York, Mr. Jones. When I got the call, I was admittedly stunned. Who else knows about your surprise trip?" "No one except you. You're one of a kind, Vera." The man slid into the seat and fastened his belt as she shut the door and climbed behind the wheel. "You," she clucked her tongue as she inspected him in the rearview mirror. "That's you all over, isn't it? Ever since you were a boy, you've come and gone as you pleased. Never any thought to how it'll affect other people." "Are you giving me a lecture?" he teased. "I don't normally take such an insult, but I'll make an exception for a beautiful woman." You, she said again, rolling her eyes, but giving a pleased chuckle. She started the car. By the way, your fiancé is supposed to be in New York now. Any plans to call on her? Yes. The man looked bored as he scrolled through his phone. I intend to irritate her so much that she breaks off the engagement with me. I'm still in my prime, Vera. I can't afford to be tied down just yet. No, Mr. Jones, Vera sighed. Of course you can't. Olivia screamed in agony as the car rolled over her arm, crushing her wrist and elbow in a single instant. She wailed for help as the tires rolled over her, breaking her spine and shattering her rib cage into nothing. She sat up in bed, gasping for air, clawing at her throat. It took a moment for her to remember where and when she was. She was at the Johnson family mansion, and that fateful night with the car was more than 10 years in the future. Sometimes it feels like that world is the dream, she murmured to herself. Olivia got out of bed and opened the curtains. There wasn't much daylight, but she caught glimpses of blue sky between the branches of the trees. I'll never let what happened to me happen again, she said. It was a promise she made to herself every day now. Olivia went to the bathroom and started the shower. The bathroom was as luxurious as she remembered, paved in marble with a glass shower complete with pounding jets of hot water that made you feel like you were being massaged by a waterfall. As she cleaned up, she whistled, feeling better as the warm shower soothed her tense muscles. After she dried her hair, Olivia opened the closet doors and surveyed the new wardrobe she'd been given. She wasn't going to look good in most of these clothes, as they'd been bought by people guessing her measurements and coloring, but a couple of the pieces worked well. She slipped into an airy polka dot dress and put on some ballet flats. She turned once, admiring herself in the mirror as her skirt fluffed around her knees. She looked fresh and innocent on the outside. Inside, she was a lethal predator. Olivia beamed at herself. She left her room and headed for the staircase. Olivia knew where the breakfast room was, but she stopped when Monica appeared beside her at the top of the stairs. Good morning, Olivia. Her half-sister pretended to look cheerful. Rachel must have insisted she play nice. Are you going down to breakfast? Yes. Then Olivia remembered she was supposed to be new to the house. That is, if I can find it. Is it the same dining room as last night? No, silly. Only poor people have only one room for eating meals. Monica's snobbishness couldn't help exposing itself. She slipped her arm through Olivia's. Come on, I'll show you the way. You're the best little sister a girl could ask for. Olivia loved how angry Monica became at the mention of being the little sister. She loved how bad the girl was at pretending to be good. You're funny, Olivia. Let's go. The girls walked down the stairs, passing several maids who dropped into little curtsies. It must be strange having people look frightened whenever they see you, Olivia murmured. What do you mean? At my old house, we were never so formal with each other. Yes, I'm sure you and the maids share a lot more in common than you and I do. Monica gave a nasty, false giggle. Maybe you should go and have breakfast in the kitchen with them, if it'd make you feel more comfortable. After all, that's where poor people have breakfast, isn't it? My mom and I used to eat in the kitchen, yes. It was a wonderful little room. Olivia glared at her half-sister. Very homey. We totally want you to feel at home here. They were silent as they wandered a twisting corridor or two until they reached the breakfast room. It was as Olivia had remembered. A small room painted blue sky with a round wooden antique table covered in a lace cloth. There was only one servant at breakfast, an older maid with a tired face. As Olivia and Monica took their seats side by side, the woman looked confused. She evidently didn't know how polite she was supposed to be to the new young lady, or if she should be polite at all. What are you staring at? Monica snapped. She looked irritated by this whole arrangement. Get us some orange juice and a soft-boiled egg for me. I'll have some toast, thanks, Olivia said. She wondered if her mother was moved into the new house by now. She hoped Victoria was enjoying some much-deserved rest. As they ate, Rachel and Michael entered the room. "Good morning, girls." Rachel kissed Monica's forehead and gave a sickeningly sweet smile to Olivia. "How did you sleep, dear?" Olivia was able to catch a quick glimpse of the woman's thoughts. "If only you'd never wake up, lousy brat." "I'm fine, Auntie Rachel. You've all been so nice to me, I can never repay you. That room's just like heaven." Michael looked delighted. Rachel took her seat, trying not to look annoyed. "It's not too dark in there, is it?" "It's so dark it feels like a tomb," Olivia thought. "I love it. It's got a romantic atmosphere. I wouldn't trade it for any other room in the house." "See, Monica, that's the way to show gratitude." Michael appeared proud as a servant placed some Eggs Benedict in front of him. "You could learn a lot from your big sister." "I'm so glad you're getting along with the family so nicely, Olivia." Rachel practically gutted a grapefruit with her knife, she was so angry. Olivia was delighted. She decided to play with the Johnsons a little more. "I like to think I'm a new Olivia now." She took a sip of coffee. "If I'm going to be a real member of the Johnson family, I should start acting the part." "Couldn't agree more," Michael said. "After all, if you need me to help run the company one day, Dad, I should learn everything from you that I can." Monica started choking on a sip of juice, while Rachel put her fork and knife down with an aggressive clatter. "What did you say, sweetheart?" Rachel asked. "Who does she think she is, little tramp?" Olivia listened to her stepmother's furious thoughts with relish. "I want to help run the empire. It's my family too, after all." "Like, you're not even real family, though," Monica snapped. Olivia had pushed her to the edge of politeness, exactly as she'd intended. "Your mother was never married to Daddy. You're just some cheap piece from the slums." "Monica!" Michael barked. He was furious. "How dare you speak to your sister like that?" "Don't tell me you're taking her side now, Daddy. She's a total bitch." "I'm sorry. I just thought Dad wanted me to help with the company one day." Olivia cast her eyes down and pretended to be sad and hurt. "I won't mention it again." "Of course I want you to help out, Liv. I want both of my daughters involved in my family business." "No, dear," Rachel said. "We want Olivia to pursue whatever path in life she truly wants. She shouldn't feel obligated to take over your company just because she's your daughter. We would never want to put that kind of pressure on her." "Do you want to learn the business, Olivia?" Michael asked. "Yes, Dad, I do." She gave him the biggest, sweetest baby deer eyes she could manage. "I'd like that more than anything. I want to feel part of your family." Michael appeared touched. He even reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "Well, I think we can manage that." He glared at Monica. "As for you, young lady, how dare you say such horrible things to your own sister?" It was a joke." Monica's reply was weak, and everyone knew it. "I'm sorry, Monica. I know you must hate me for barging into your life." Olivia pretended to fight against tears. "I know that's the only reason you told me to go eat in the kitchen with the servants. I just wish you didn't hate me so much." "You said what?" Now Michael was almost ready to shout. He looked ready to turn the table over. "You suggested my own daughter ought to eat in the kitchen like a servant?" Personally, Olivia didn't have any problem with the idea of eating with the maids. She'd probably enjoy it more than this. But if she wanted to destroy Rachel and Monica, cozying up to her father was her best bet. "Please don't yell at her, Dad. I'm sorry I made a mess of breakfast." Olivia hid her face behind a napkin and pretended to cry. "Liv, none of this is your fault. You, young lady." He pointed at Monica. "Get out of my sight. I don't want to see you for a while. I've never been so ashamed of you." "But Daddy!" Monica burst into tears. "No buts. Get out of here and go to your room. I want you to think about the appalling way you behaved to your own family. Go!" Monica got up and fled from the table. As she pulled upon the breakfast room door, Olivia tried to use her mental powers. She had a tiny corner of the rug pull up so that Monica tripped over it and went sprawling onto her face. "Ow! Do you need help?" Olivia jumped up, ready to be seen as caring. "Go to hell!" Monica ran away sobbing. How dare you treat your own daughter that way? Rachel's face had gone pale with anger. I have 2 daughters, in case you've forgotten, Michael said. Olivia has been nothing but sweet and kind to Monica, and Monica's treated her like garbage since the moment she set foot in this house. I won't have that kind of meanness under my roof. Frankly, I expect you to be stricter with Monica. We don't want her growing up spoiled. It's okay, Auntie Rachel. Olivia loved how much the nickname irritated Rachel. You don't have to yell at Monica over me. We should just give her time. Thank you very much for the advice, dear, but I'm quite capable of looking after myself and my own daughter. You're right, Olivia beamed. One day, many years from now, when I'm as old as you, I hope I'm half as wise. Good girl. Michael patted her arm while Rachel looked as if she was about to burst a blood vessel. Women really, really did not like it when you called them old. If you'll excuse me, I've lost my appetite. Rachel stormed out of the room. I don't know what's gotten into everyone today. Michael shook his head. Well, I hope you're planning some fun activities in your last few days before school starts. Olivia thought, I'd like to do some shopping if that's okay. There are some things I want for parties and other events. Of course. Remember, if you continue to make me proud, we can expand that $5,000 credit limit to $10,000. Then I'll be able to do some real damage, Olivia said with a laugh. Her father chuckled too. Anyone observing them would think they were becoming fast friends. Perhaps they were in a way. Olivia certainly didn't hate Michael. She honestly felt sorry for him. He was so easy to manipulate. But if he continued to be good to her and look after her mother, Olivia would be the perfect daughter. As for Rachel and Monica, their troubles were just beginning. The thought put Olivia in an even better mood than before. Rachel entered Monica's room. It looked like a tornado had gone through the place. The girl had thrown a full-scale tantrum, ripping the comforter and pillows from her bed, knocking over her bedside table, even flinging her old stuffed animals around the room. Monica sat on the window seat and bawled like a toddler. The sight made Rachel furious. Young lady, this is not how a Johnson behaves. Cut it out, she snapped. You saw, Mom. Daddy prefers Olivia to me. He's going to leave her everything when he dies. Just wait and see. You and I are going to have to go live in, like, a poor person's house or something. Rachel wanted to roll her eyes. Monica really was a stupid brat. But she was Rachel's daughter, and that trumped everything else. Olivia is an illegitimate nothing. You are the true Johnson heir. Rachel sat beside her daughter and wiped Monica's tear-stained cheeks. There are ways to get rid of her. We just need to be smart. But how? Monica whined. For starters, you need to be more careful with your words. Olivia's got you beat there. She weighs every sentence before it leaves her mouth. You say whatever you think or feel, and it makes your father angry. Fine, Monica sulked. What else? Rachel considered this. She'd been so certain that Olivia would be easy to destroy, but it hadn't worked out that way. The girl was tougher than Rachel had predicted. They were going to need outside help to take the little monster down. Rachel got an idea. She smiled. Sweetheart, what about Cousin Milani? What about her? It's been too long since we had her over. I know she'd love to see you. I'm certain she'd love to meet Olivia. Monica stopped sniffling and considered this. Milani would be a formidable challenge even for a schemer like Olivia. Rachel's daughter brightened considerably. That's a good idea, Mom. We should definitely have her over. Rachel hugged Monica, glee and hatred glowing in her heart. Olivia, I won't let you outsmart me. Prepare to be annihilated. Olivia stood in front of her wardrobe, eyeing everything that she'd bought and everything the Johnsons had given her. Her clothes belonged to a schoolgirl, pretty items for the most part, but innocent and young. Olivia wasn't either of those, not really, not anymore. She wanted to dress herself for the role she was going to play. She wanted to look powerful, a little scary, maybe even a tiny bit seductive. She slipped on a jacket, took her purse, and headed down the stairs. "Can you call a car for me?" she asked Hector when she saw him in the hallway. The servant bowed to her. "Certainly, Miss Johnson. I shall have Lewis drive you. Would the Bentley be all right?" "I suppose it'll have to do." She grinned smugly as Hector hurried away to do her bidding. "Where do you think you're going?" Monica demanded. She stood on the stairway landing above Olivia, Rachel alongside her. "Dad said I could go shopping. I could use some new clothes. Weren't the ones we bought for you good enough, dear?" Rachel's voice was like ice. "They're the old me. I think I want to look like a new, more exciting version." "You feel so comfortable just taking whatever you want, don't you?" Monica stomped down the stairs. "Like, what if I needed the car?" "Does Dad really have a Bentley to his name?" "Well, you're taking the chauffeur. I can't drive myself." "No, you're too young, still a baby." Olivia winked and Monica fumed. "Don't worry, sis. I'm just headed into the city. I'll be back soon. I'm sure there's plenty to do around here that'll be fun." "You're not taking the car." Rachel descended slowly, dramatically. "It's selfish to deprive us of our chauffeur just for a little shopping trip. I'm afraid I can't allow that." "All right," Olivia nodded. "Then I guess I have to hitchhike." "What?" Rachel gaped at her. "I'm sure someone will come along the road and find me at some point. Hopefully not a dangerous criminal." Olivia snorted. "Relax, Auntie Rachel. I'm just teasing. I can call a ride on my phone." She took it from her purse to show it off. "Come to think of it, I could use a new one." "You're a bitch!" Monica looked like she was about to cry. "Why, Monica, what a thing to say!" Olivia put her hands on her hips. "I know you don't mean that, of course. Daddy would be very unhappy if he heard that." "Don't call him Daddy, that's what I call him," the girl shrieked. "I think we should all learn to share with each other. So I won't have Lewis drive me. I'll find my own way to the city." She gave a sickeningly sweet smile to Rachel. "Thank you, Auntie. See you later." She left the two women fuming. Rachel walked to the front gates and eventually was able to call a cab. It was a little difficult since the Johnson mansion was in such a remote location, but eventually a car pulled up to the gate. Olivia slid into the back seat, proud of herself. When Michael found out his wife and daughter had tried to foul up Olivia's shopping trip, he'd be angry with them. The more Olivia alienated him from the other two women, the stronger her own position in the house would be. Everything was going according to plan. 40 minutes later, the Manhattan skyline appeared on the horizon. They crossed the Hudson River, and Olivia decided to begin shopping down in Soho. It's where many of the nicest boutiques were, and there was a younger, hipper vibe down there than there would be on the Upper East Side. The car dropped her off, and she entered a store. She had to be a little cheap today, since she only had $5,000 to spend. She quickly found an outfit she loved, a black and white dress that flared out directly over her knees. The neckline was sharp and a bit low, revealing more of her chest than the old, more timid Olivia would have liked. New Olivia liked it very much. She bought the dress, a pair of heeled sandals, and some designer sunglasses. As she paraded down the street, she got approving looks from many young men. She looked elegant and a little adult now. Someone who could break hearts and get away with it. She stopped and purchased a new phone for herself. The old Olivia would have been scared when she saw the $600 price tag, but now she simply handed over the credit card without a bit of concern. She also bought a brand new case, one that sparkled with actual gold dust. "If you've got it, flaunt it," she said to herself. She decided to wander the storefronts for a while, stopping to buy herself a latte flavored with rose and vanilla. She'd never felt so good before, and enjoyed having money to spend. When she paused before another store window, she caught a reflection of herself. This version of her looked powerful and confident. "Hey!" A young, handsome man appeared behind her. He had a popped collar on his polo shirt and some designer sunglasses on top of his head. He smelled like a cologne commercial. You're the hottest girl I've seen in a long time. Yes, I probably am, she replied. He snorted. Sexy. Listen, I've got a place a few blocks away, a penthouse. Want to come over for a drink? She scrutinized his appearance in the glass. I'd say you're a solid 8, maybe an 8.5, she shrugged. I'm only going out with 9s or higher this season. Bitch! His cheeks flamed red, but he also seemed to admire her more. Some men loved it when you played hard to get. See you around. I doubt that. She strolled away, tossing her latte cup into a trash can. Olivia paused outside of a luxury perfume store. It was Jar, the most expensive and elite perfume in the world. She decided she needed to step inside. Even though she was dressed well, Olivia still looked like a 16-year-old girl. When a sales associate came over to her, the woman looked confused. Miss, are you here with your mother? Olivia noted the woman's name tag. Felicity. Thank you, Felicity. I'm interested in this season's collection. I need a new fragrance. The saleswoman looked dismissive. You should think about the perfume counter at Bergdorf Goodman. They have many good selections for a young girl. You want me to wear something by Calvin Klein? Olivia made sure to look insulted. Why don't I hand you over to one of our junior associates? Felicity gestured at a younger girl. Over here, Robin? Robin was a smiling girl of 19 or so. She looked nervous as she took over for Felicity. What can I help you with, miss? I want something very unique. Do you have anything that's new and exciting? Well, there's a new limited edition scent, but it's kind of on the expensive side. Robin whispered. It's actually $2,500. That would wipe out half of her credit card in one fell swoop, but Olivia would still have enough for lunch and a car home. She smiled. Show it to me. Robin looked baffled. Miss, are you sure your parents will let you buy something that expensive? I'm shopping with my own credit card. Don't worry, I'm fine. Let me see the perfume. Robin brought Olivia into a small back room that was closed off with velvet curtains. She lifted the lid of a glass jar and displayed a small golden bottle of perfume on a cushion. The top note is a very rare white roses from Lebanon, Robin explained as she took the stopper off the perfume. She waved it under Olivia's nose, and Olivia inhaled deeply. It smelled like a whole house full of roses, with something earthy and rich underneath. She took a dab and applied it to her wrists. She let Robin smell to decide. Oh, wow, some perfumes don't go with certain oils in people's skin, but it's like this perfume was made for you. I think I love it, Olivia said. I'll take it. Are you sure? Don't you want to look at some of the less expensive options? I only want the best. Do you gift wrap? Robin rang her up at the counter, looking nervous as Olivia presented her credit card. It's okay if you can't really afford this, Robin whispered. She was being sweet and wanted to be helpful. Olivia appreciated that. We can just pretend you changed your mind. Olivia knew Felicity was watching their every move. The snooty saleswoman sauntered back and forth behind Olivia, waiting for something to go wrong. It's okay. I like red ribbon for the gift wrap, by the way. Oh! Robin looked shocked as the transaction went through. She handed over a receipt and Olivia signed it. Well, here you go then. She put the boxed perfume in a bag and handed it over. Would it be possible to ship that somewhere? You don't want to take it home with you? It's not for me, Olivia said softly. It's for my mom. She never has anything nice and I want her to enjoy it. That's really sweet. Robin looked pleased. Of course I can do that for you, if you're willing to pay a shipping fee. Olivia agreed. She filled out a small note card to her mother, paid for shipping, and began to walk out of the store. You're kidding me, Felicity hissed. She was talking to Robin. She bought the limited edition perfume. There were only 100 bottles made. She could afford it. There's nothing wrong with her card. She's not even taking it with her? She's sending it to her mother. She says her mother never has anything nice. Isn't that sweet? Olivia had an impulse to try listening in on Felicity's thoughts. I understand now, the nasty woman thought. This girl's probably whoring herself out to a rich older man. She's taking him for everything she can get and sending gifts to her gold-digger mother. This city is full of trash. Olivia didn't mind anyone thinking bad things about her, but no one insulted her mother, ever. She stopped outside of the store and turned around, meeting Felicity's gaze. The woman sneered at Olivia. You think you're better than me? Better than my mother? Olivia whispered to herself. The smug look fled Felicity's eye. She put her hands to her throat and began to gag. It was like invisible hands were choking her. Felicity? What's wrong? Robin cried. Felicity stared into Olivia's eyes with a terrible, panicked expression, like she was begging Olivia to stop. But Olivia would not stop. This is what happens to people who insult Victoria Park, she hissed. Felicity tried to scream, then her whole body tightened. She slumped onto the floor and lay limp. Robin screamed, dashing to Felicity's side. Before the girl called an ambulance, Olivia walked away with great coolness. She wasn't going to stick around to watch the drama unfold. She already knew she killed the saleswoman. Olivia was buzzing. She felt like she'd injected electricity straight into her veins. Standing up for her mother and herself like that was exhilarating. She had never felt so powerful. In her last life, Olivia died feeling like she'd always been a pushover who let others walk all over her. She never lived on her own terms, but she had had enough of being tortured. She couldn't live in existence as a helpless victim anymore. No, now she would be fierce and unapologetic, and anyone who tried to cross her would meet the new Olivia, just like that nasty woman Felicity had. I am a force to be reckoned with, she smirked. This newfound feeling of strength and power carried Olivia for the next few blocks, and she almost felt like she was floating. But when she rounded the corner onto Broadway, a humid breeze swirled past her, and she suddenly felt overwhelmed with the feeling like she might faint. She began to feel very, very sluggish and lightheaded. Olivia propped her hand up against the building beside her to steady herself. She could feel sweat forming on the back of her neck, and her legs trembled, as if ready to buckle. She stumbled into a nearby park and collapsed onto a bench beside an old woman feeding the birds. The woman didn't even seem to notice her, though Olivia was panting like a dog who'd run miles in a heat wave. What was happening? Seconds ago, she'd felt so good. Had that simply been the rush of adrenaline? Was it now wearing off? It was like she was coming down from a powerful drug high. Olivia looked around, trying to get her bearings. She spotted a bodega a few hundred yards from her. Mustering what little energy she had left, Olivia stood and shuffled towards the store. Inside, the whoosh of cool air conditioning greeted her. She felt grateful to be out of the heat, especially now. The guy behind the counter had blue hair and a lip ring, and he said something to Olivia, but she was too focused on beelining for the water in the refrigerator beside him to notice. When she brought her water bottle up to the front, he winked at her. Rough night? He flashed a lavish grin. Olivia rolled her eyes and said nothing. The guy behind the counter shrugged. Oh, come on. You can at least smile. Don't you want to brighten up my day? He winked at her. Ew, who did this guy think he was? Olivia hated when men tried to tell girls to smile, as if we were put on this planet for their pleasure. She wanted to teach him a lesson about hitting on young girls so he'd never do it again. But when she tried, she realized she couldn't even muster up the energy to talk back. Killing Felicity had taken everything out of her. Still, even though she was sweaty and a little pale, when she caught a glimpse of herself in the reflection of the refrigerator's glass door, Olivia noticed she still appeared poised and stylish in her new outfit, at least on the outside. It was almost like armor she now wore. Apparently, this new glow-up was doing wonders for her. She may have felt like she'd been hit by a truck, but she certainly didn't look like it. She opened her water bottle and drank from it ravenously, downing the whole thing before the cashier even finished ringing her up. She felt like she'd been walking through the desert for days. Her thirst couldn't be quenched. "Wow," the bodega cashier laughed. "Somebody's parched." "Wait," she muttered, just as he was about to tell her how much she owed. "I should get another one," she thought, eyeing the ice-cold waters in the fridge again, just in case. This time, she grabbed a bigger water bottle. "Ah, she speaks," the cashier replied. "You know, if you're really dehydrated, I suggest those electrolyte waters. They'll help you hydrate and replenish your minerals faster. Or so the commercials say. Could be a marketing gimmick, who knows?" Olivia contemplated the cashier's words. He was actually kind of helpful. Good thing I didn't just try to hurt him, she thought, amused. He proved useful after all. She doubled back to the fridge and switched out her big water bottle for one of the fancier electrolyte waters. It cost $2 more, but it was worth it. Then she swiped a pack of almonds off the nearby shelf and some M&Ms for a hit of sugar. Might as well do anything she could to try to replenish what she depleted. She walked over and put everything on the checkout counter. "Be careful out there," Olivia warned the cashier with a slight glint in her eyes as she paid for her items. "It's a scorcher today." Stepping back out onto the street, Olivia tossed back a few almonds and took another sip of water. She felt like her energy was finally returning, and when she glimpsed herself in the reflection of the metallic building she was walking past, she noticed a rosy color was returning to her cheeks. Once the overwhelming feeling of exhaustion slowly began to recede, and Olivia started to regain her strength. All that remained was the feeling of, well, what was it exactly? Olivia couldn't quite pinpoint it. She felt more clear than she had ever before, and she was radiating a sort of confidence that came from somewhere deep within her being, like she was at peace and nobody could touch her. She tingled with a deep, intrinsic sense of belonging in the world, like it was hers for the taking. She was brimming with a newfound excitement and purpose. "I feel so alive," she thought. It felt as though Olivia was doing what she was meant to do, like she was answering some higher calling, like she was restoring some balance that had been knocked askew. Could it be that righting the wrongs of my past and seeking vengeance against those who hurt me and my mom is part of some larger purpose? Even if it wasn't, it felt like it was. As she continued walking, Olivia spotted a grand opening banner hanging above a storefront across the street. The store seemed to be an exclusive second-hand shop with high-end vintage designer pieces. Mannequins in 1970s Chanel and old Alexander McQueen beckoned passerbys inside and outside. A young woman dressed in a stylish kimono and a large gold belt offered guests who entered crisp glasses of champagne. Olivia cocked an eyebrow. She may have spent the last of her allowance on the perfume, but it couldn't hurt to take a peek inside and see if there was anything inside she might like. She'd be getting another $5,000 next month, and every month thereafter, for that matter, so she might as well be familiar with all the shops around here. For future reference, vintage pieces were one of a kind, and nobody would be able to replicate Olivia's look if she started incorporating such staples into her wardrobe. It's all a part of the new Olivia, she mused as she waited at the crosswalk. Besides, the store looked to be having a grand opening celebration, and Olivia was in the mood to celebrate. As she crossed the street, Olivia recognized a girl she knew from her last life approaching the store from the opposite direction. They had gone to school together, and Olivia strained to remember her name, reaching far back into the recesses of her brain. Millie, she thought. Yes, Millie Brown. Millie wore an unassuming beige prairie dress that did little for her figure, if Olivia was being honest, and a black leather backpack. Her hair was pulled back into a high ponytail, and Millie smiled as she walked. Ah, yes, Millie was always a sweet, happy-go-lucky girl, Olivia remembered. People used to joke that she had resting nice face because she smiled everywhere she went. Unfortunately, people in school often took advantage of that by befriending Millie, only to cheat off her tests or copy her homework. She was too sweet and innocent to catch on, too. It was a pity, Olivia thought, that Millie couldn't redo her life with a stronger backbone, the way Olivia could. As she thought this, Olivia watched as a man stopped Millie to ask for directions. Makes sense. If anyone could stop what they were doing to help a stranger find their way through the hustle and bustle of the city, it'd be Millie. Olivia observed Millie pointing out various landmarks for the man. He looked like he was in his 30s and wore black joggers, a black sweatshirt, and a baseball cap. He smiled appreciatively at Millie, but when he handed Millie the guidebook he was carrying, Olivia's eyes narrowed. As Millie examined a map in the man's guidebook and seemed preoccupied, spouting off more directions, the man began surreptitiously unzipping the front pocket of Millie's backpack. He seemed so practiced at it, moving so deftly, that Millie didn't even have a clue what was happening. "Asshole," Olivia muttered under her breath. What a predator, preying on sweet little Millie like this. Olivia's blood boiled watching him. She hated seeing someone being victimized like this. It reminded Olivia of all the times she herself had been bullied and teased in her last life. Millie didn't deserve what was happening to her. Olivia focused all her rage intently on the man and imagined twisting his wrist all the way back so that it bent at an unnatural angle as he felt around Millie's pocket. But just when she expected to hear a scream or a howl, nothing happened. That's odd. She shook off the last attempt and tried again, this time focusing on the man's neck, just like she'd done with that saleswoman Felicity earlier. She imagined wringing her hands around his neck, concentrating on squeezing tightly. But again, nothing happened. The man continued itching his hand inside poor, unassuming Millie's backpack. What was happening? Had Olivia gone too far earlier and lost all her powers? Or had she just overextended herself? She'd never felt so tired in her life after she used her powers on Felicity. So did she just need some recovery time before her powers would come back to her? Maybe she had to rest in order to regain enough strength before she could use them again. She made a mental note to try to figure out how it all worked. Maybe it's like any other physical skill, and I need to practice using it. Maybe I can get stronger like an athlete and really hone my powers if I learn how to properly cultivate them. I just have to, figure out a way to harness them in a way that doesn't completely sap me of all energy. And if that's not hard... Olivia's thoughts were suddenly interrupted when she noticed the pickpocket pulling something from Millie's bag. Unable to do anything else to stop him, she started sprinting towards him and reflexively yelled, "Millie!" The pickpocket locked eyes with Olivia, a terrifyingly menaced expression on his face. At the same time, Millie looked up, terrified, still holding the man's guidebook, and she looked around to see who shouted her name. "Oh!" she screamed, as soon as she realized what was happening. The pickpocket recoiled when Millie screamed, as everyone in the vicinity stopped and suddenly looked at him to find out what all the commotion was about. The man quickly retracted his hand, which was still half inside Millie's bag, grabbing what he could from her front pocket and spilling the rest of its contents onto the ground. Then he stumbled backwards. "Hey! What the hell?" Millie grimaced as she swung her backpack around to the front of her body, grabbing onto it protectively. The man sprinted away with a handful of Millie's items, and she had so little time to process what had happened that she absent-mindedly threw his travel book at him, though it missed its target completely and landed with a pathetic thud a few feet in front of her. Millie knelt down to pick up her belongings just as Olivia arrived to help. "Oh," Millie smiled. "Thanks for alerting me." Olivia gave a nod. "Of course. Did he take anything important?" Millie shook her head. "Nah. Luckily, all I keep in the front pouch are tampons and low-calorie granola bars, so joke's on him." Millie laughed, then shot Olivia a genuine smile. "Thank you, though, for stopping him before he took anything valuable." Before Olivia could respond, Millie pursed her lips. Do I know you?" She looked around suspiciously. "Is this another setup?" Millie worried. Was the guy before just a decoy and this girl's swooping in to act like my savior so I trust her? But then she's going to, steal my wallet or my identity or something? Olivia noticed that when she read Millie's thoughts, they sounded distant and quiet. Maybe because Olivia was tired. Before, when she listened in on people's thoughts, they sounded loud, like they were being spoken aloud right in front of her. Reading Millie's thoughts now, though, Olivia's heart broke for her. "You won debate champion last year at the Tri-State High School Debate Championships," Olivia assured her, thinking quickly. "My school came in like 6th place, so it's no wonder you don't remember me. But it was kind of hard not to remember you." "Oh, I didn't think anyone remembered that." Millie appeared to be genuinely touched. "Not even my siblings remember that," Millie thought, which broke Olivia's heart even more. "Good thing I did remember that detail," Olivia thought, "because it's a hell of a lot easier than explaining, 'Oh, I'm back from the dead and I remember you from my last life. Isn't that amazing?'" "What school do you go to?" Millie asked. Her voice was delicate. Olivia imagined if a porcelain doll could talk, it would sound like Millie. "I went to Lincoln last year. It's a public school." Olivia felt her cheeks grow warm as she said this, and she hated it. She despised being ashamed about her poor upbringing, but that was an unfortunate byproduct of all the teasing she'd endured in her last life at the hands of Monica and her rich friends. "Not anymore," Olivia reminded herself. "Stay focused. Things will be different now." "I'm starting at Marshall this year, though." Olivia stood up straighter, beaming with a newfound sense of pride. "So in a few days, maybe we'll be classmates. And who knows, maybe I can join the debate team. Although you guys are pretty good, I probably wouldn't qualify." She laughed. "Wait, what grade are you going into?" Millie asked enthusiastically. 11th, Olivia replied, and a smile spread across Millie's face. It was like all her distrust completely dissipated at the prospect of having a new friend. Olivia read Millie's thoughts again. Maybe if I befriend her before anyone else does, she won't think I'm lame and try to hang out with the more popular girls. Olivia's brow furrowed as she watched Millie cycle through various memories of being left out of the popular cliques because Olivia's dad was the principal of Marshall High, so kids often called her Narc behind her back and feared that anything she was involved in would get back to her dad. It meant Millie missed out on most parties and social events, and though she was bookish and very smart, other kids claimed she only did well because her dad was in charge of the school, as if he pulled strings with teachers to get her straight A's. It couldn't be further from the truth. Millie was naturally smart, but she was also introverted and socially awkward, so she usually kept a low profile and didn't stand up for herself. Millie didn't let on what was going on in her mind, however. She just continued smiling and said, "Well then, us meeting like this is fate. If you want, I can show you around once school starts." Olivia enjoyed Millie's eagerness. She had a kind, forthcoming air about her that was a welcome respite from the conniving, calculated energy swirling around Monica and Rachel, and the servants back at the mansion. In her last life, Olivia had befriended Pamela Cox at school, and look where that got her. Pamela wasn't a true friend. She used Olivia for her money and connections in her past life, and was never there when Olivia really needed her. But Liv was too preoccupied with her family drama to see that. She was just happy to have someone to confide in. Too bad Pamela took everything Olivia said and ended up betraying her trust. Looking back, Olivia now realized Pamela just smiled and nodded whenever she confided in all her problems. Pamela never really listened or gave her advice or actually helped Olivia. But Liv had so few allies in her home life back then, she didn't even realize how checked out Pamela was. Olivia frowned. "Except for my mom. I had terrible models for close relationships in my last life, didn't I?" She shrugged, stopping herself before she took another step further into this pity party for herself. "No," she reminded herself. "This time, I'm aligning myself with people like Millie. Good people with good intentions. I'm correcting all my mistakes." "All right," Olivia nodded. "That sounds good. And let me buy you something," Millie offered, "as a token of my appreciation for you helping me." "Oh, no," Olivia shook her head. "That's totally unnecessary. I was just trying to do you a solid. There's bad people in this world, and they shouldn't get away with stuff like that, especially when they prey on the innocent." Millie smiled, moved by Olivia's words. "Well, please let me repay you." She nodded toward the store with the grand opening banner in front, My aunt owns that place, and I can basically get anything at a discount, so don't feel bad." Olivia contemplated, so Millie went on. "If you hadn't stopped that guy, he would have taken my laptop or my wallet or, oh my God, what if he'd taken my house keys? What if he followed me home and, no, I don't even want to think about it. But seriously, you saved my life." Olivia looked towards the store, which she now saw was called Second Chances. A fitting name, wasn't it? Maybe Millie was right. Maybe this was fate, and Olivia did want to see what unique vintage pieces might be inside. "Okay," Olivia nodded. "I'll let you get me something, but only something small." Millie grinned. "Deal." She knew from reading Millie's thoughts that she wouldn't let her part ways without taking a small gift with her as a token of her gratitude, so Olivia followed Millie into the store. Olivia remembered vaguely that Millie Brown's family was in the fashion industry, though you wouldn't know it from Millie's personal style. Still, the Browns were loaded, much like everyone else who attended Marshall School. Not billionaire, I can buy my friends loaded, but comfortably well off. Olivia watched as Millie rummaged through various accessories, until finally she picked out a gorgeous pair of vintage Fendi glasses. She handed them to Olivia. "Here, consider these my thank you. They go perfectly with your outfit." Olivia was speechless. "These are gorgeous." "Well, so are you," Millie smiled. Olivia was a bit surprised. There were no ulterior motives behind what Millie was saying. She was just being friendly. All she wanted in return was friendship, not status or connections or anything. A refreshing respite indeed. Olivia's cell phone buzzed, and she realized she'd have to head home if she wanted to make it in time for dinner. So she and Millie exchanged phone numbers and promised to link up again on the first day of school. "I'll find you at the front gate," Millie gushed. "It'll be fun to show someone new around." On the ride home, she tried to remember exactly what became of Millie in her last life, but the two lost touch after high school. For now, it just felt good to make a friend to help someone out who'd been nothing but sweet and innocent to her in her past life. Olivia was ready to live life on her own terms and relished the idea of spending her time with people who actually deserved her kindness and friendship. As for those who deserved a little bit of punishment, Olivia smirked. They'd get what they deserved too. Olivia whistled as she entered her family's mansion, feeling lighter than she'd ever felt since moving here. "Someone looks like they just discovered how to use a credit card," Monica snarked when she saw her older half-sister on the staircase, shopping bag slung over Olivia's shoulder. "Be careful, wouldn't want you to go over your limit and get cut off. Actually, on second thought, maybe you do. At least that way you'd go back to being the poor trash you are. And maybe Dad would see we should just send you back to where you came from." Olivia said nothing. She wasn't going to dignify any of Monica's immature barbs with a response. Besides, she knew saying nothing got under her half-sister's skin more than anything. "Say something," Monica thought, as if on cue, prompting Olivia to smile. "Fine, don't talk," Monica shrugged. "But I'm having some friends over tomorrow to celebrate my cousin Milani's birthday, and everyone's going to see what a bitch you are if you try to give them the silent treatment, too." The instant the name Milani left Monica's lips, Olivia nearly dropped her bags. Her stomach tightened, and she averted her eyes so she didn't give herself away. She didn't want Monica to detect even a whisper of weakness in her. But suddenly, Olivia felt like all the confidence she'd summoned since moving here had drained from her body, without warning. She looked down at her fingers, which trembled slightly. Her teeth began to chatter, so she clenched her jaw tight to stop them. It was as if all the torment Milani Cooper had caused in Olivia's previous life had been stored somewhere deep inside Olivia's muscles and bones, and now the mere mention of her name brought forth a reflexive physical reaction. Not Milani, she thought. Not now. Olivia's brow furrowed. She suddenly felt unprepared and ill-equipped to come face to face with her former foe. What if my powers are gone? When I tried stopping Millie's pickpocket earlier, I couldn't summon them. That'd be great timing, wouldn't it? Losing them right before Melanie arrives, when I probably need them the most. "Hello?" Monica whined at the bottom of the staircase, pulling Olivia out of her head and back down to earth. Did you hear me? I'm having friends over tomorrow, so don't be a mute weirdo if your dad makes us say hi to you. I'd hate for you to reflect poorly on this family. Olivia shot Monica an unimpressed smile. Nobody could do a better job of reflecting poorly on the family than you. Oh my God, rude! Monica squealed. Oh, and please don't try to tag along with us tomorrow. You may live here, but you're not invited to, hang out with me and my friends. I wouldn't dream of it. Olivia gave Monica another flat smile. Crap. She pursed her lips and looked up at the lights above her and tried to make them flicker, move, anything with her mind. Nothing. They didn't even twitch. Why did I have to lose my powers right before Melanie got here? She fretted. Did I use them all up on that Felicity woman earlier in the store? Did I go too far and this is some sort of punishment? She wanted to punch the wall, but knew Monica was still watching her, and she couldn't give her half-sister the satisfaction of seeing her flustered. She would never show any hint of weakness. Inside, though, she was nervous. As much as she loathed Monica, nothing compared to the hatred Olivia felt in her heart for Melanie Cooper. Melanie was her age, but was inseparable from Monica, despite being a grade apart in school. Olivia could remember every humiliation she suffered at the hands of Melanie, with a clarity that made it feel like it happened yesterday. Every tiny, torturous thing Melanie ever did. The ways Melanie hurt her left emotional scars that to this day made Olivia shudder. Melanie used to bribe guys at rival high schools to pretend they were interested in Olivia, only to stand her up on dates after she'd spent so much time getting ready. Melanie and Monica were vicious when they would team up, and Olivia was so naive she fell for it over and over again. Olivia cringed thinking back to that time. How could she have been so foolish? She hadn't known any better. She trusted people and didn't know how evil they could be then. She remembered the time Melanie catfished her and pretended to be a guy she'd liked online. Olivia, not realizing, began communicating with the guy over WhatsApp, and one day he asked for a few selfies. Trusting him, Olivia sent them, thinking she was talking to her future boyfriend. Olivia cringed now, thinking of the smiling faces of her peers at a party, when Melanie held her nude photo and laughed as she passed it around for everyone to see. Olivia was called a slut, and taunted mercilessly after that. She wanted to transfer to a new school, to run away entirely and never come back, but it was Rachel who convinced her to stay in her past life. Rachel claimed at the time it was in Olivia's best interest to stay at Marshall, because it was such a prestigious school. But Olivia could see clearly now that Rachel didn't want to help. She was just dismantling Olivia's reputation one small step at a time, until even Michael was forced to turn away from his own daughter for fear of sullying his own reputation. Olivia turned around and tried to read Monica's thoughts to see if she was already thinking up ways to try and mess with Olivia tomorrow. But every time she tried, Olivia came up empty. Crap! Is my ability to read thoughts gone now too? What is happening? She quickly gave Monica a flat smile and then scurried up the stairs to her dark, depressing room. As soon as she closed the door, she kicked her desk chair across the floor. Please come back, she thought, as if talking to herself might help summon back her powers. I was just getting acquainted with my new skills. It'd be a pity if I lost them now. Olivia worried she'd no longer have the upper hand without her powers, and she secretly fretted about it throughout dinner and for the remainder of the night. As Monica and Rachel droned on about their days, and her dad politely listened, Olivia tried over and over to read their thoughts, but she couldn't. In bed that night, she kicked the sheets off herself, unable to sleep, trying to train her mind on different objects around her damp room to get them to move. But nothing so much as budged. When she did finally fall asleep, Olivia dreamt up all the different ways she could bring about Melanie Cooper's downfall. She saw herself publicly humiliating Melanie before auditoriums full of people, and plunging Melanie into an ocean with turbulent waves, and shoving Melanie in front of an oncoming train with her mind. It was kind of addictive, plotting against her former tormentor. By the time Olivia's alarm clock went off the following morning, she'd probably killed Olivia 100 times in her sleep. As soon as she opened her door, she heard a familiar, melodious voice downstairs. Olivia could feel a nervous anticipation bubbling up inside her. Melanie's here. She bit her lip and vowed, even without my powers, I'm going to make her suffer the consequences of her past actions this time around. Olivia stood at the top of the stairs, watching a gaggle of sophomores and juniors from different New York private schools compliment each other's outfits. Oh my God, no, you look amazing! One girl in a dress that looked like a white loofah tied with a hot pink string said, No, you look divine! Another girl shrieked, Is this what popular girls do? Olivia mused, Just go around telling each other how hot they are instead of having actual conversation? She wished she could see what they really thought about each other, but when she tried to scan their thoughts, it still wasn't working. Who's this? A voice cooed from below. Olivia looked downstairs and saw that Melanie, who stood in the center of the group in the mansion's grand foyer, was looking directly at her. Soon, all of Monica's friends turned and followed Melanie's gaze up to Olivia. Just like in her previous life, Melanie was wearing a white mini dress that made her tan skin and turquoise eyes pop. She paired the look with 2-inch checkered wedges, which took her towering 5'10" frame into stratospheric heights. Olivia inhaled deeply. She forgot how big of a presence Melanie had. She was gorgeous, and her smile appeared magnanimous and inviting, but Olivia knew better than to drop her guard. Do not fall for the nice girl act, she reminded herself. She'll strike the minute you do. The girl is savage. Would you mind coming to fetch my bag for me? Melanie asked Olivia, holding up her crocodile skin overnight bag. You can take it and hang it in the closet of my guest room. Monica's mouth twitched a little, barely able to hold back her smile. Melanie, that's not one of the servants. That's my half-sister. Oh, Melanie shrugged. My bad. She looked like the help. The gaggle of girls giggled at Melanie's provocation. Olivia seethed but refused to let them have the last laugh. Instead, she looked at Hector, who had been watching the exchange with amusement since Olivia entered the room. Hector helped the guests bring their bags into the house. Hector, who had been watching with amusement up until now, looked from Olivia to Monica, like he wasn't sure which of the girls he should listen to. He was clearly used to kissing Rachel and Monica's asses. Olivia gave him a stern look. Hector, I asked you to bring our lovely guest bags into the house. Did you not hear me? When he said nothing, she pouted and looked at him with faux concern. Should I tell my father you're losing your hearing, and we should replace you with someone more able? At this, Hector quickly glanced from Monica to Olivia, and then bowed his head to Olivia. No, sorry, ma'am. Here, let me help. Hector quickly brought Monica's guest bags into the house. Melanie watched in shock. Olivia knew that ever since she was a baby, Melanie was accustomed to people rushing to curry favor with her and bend over backwards to please her. So it astounded her that someone didn't do as she asked. Olivia proudly walked down the stairs on her way to eat breakfast, but Melanie strode forward and blocked her path. Olivia, I asked you to bring my bag into the house. Do you not understand? Olivia's lips curled up at the edges. Oh, so you do know who I am then. She turned to Monica. Monica, I see your cousin has the same manners as you. What a welcoming bunch. Your mothers must be proud of the way they've raised you. Olivia couldn't help but sneer as she spoke, and she saw a flicker of hatred in Melanie's eyes. It thrilled Olivia, and she felt suddenly like a light switch had been flipped on inside of her. Bitch. Olivia couldn't be sure if Melanie had thought this, or if she just imagined it was what she was thinking based on her body language. But before she could investigate further, Olivia saw Melanie's eyes move beyond her, to something over Olivia's shoulder. She followed her gaze and saw Rachel approaching the foyer. Relax, I was just teasing, Melanie said. Olivia fixed a sweet fake smile onto her face. So was I, silly. Melanie gritted her teeth. Nobody treats me like this. I'm a Cooper, for God's sake, and I'm going to teach you a lesson. There it was. Olivia could hear Melanie's thoughts again. As Melanie turned to greet her Aunt Rachel, Olivia observed as she silently criticized the short length of Rachel's dress and over-Botox face. Aunt Rachel, you look younger every time I see you. Melanie smiled. And that dress is perfect on you. As Melanie skipped towards her aunt to give her a hug, Olivia couldn't help herself. Buoyed by the fact that her mind reading had returned, she now focused all her attention on the lace-up wedges Melanie wore. Mustering up all her energy and concentration, Olivia eyed the laces, and then suddenly tugged her head to the right. As she did, the ribbon laces on Melanie's right wedge untied, and Melanie tripped over them and then tumbled to the ground. Everybody gasped. When Melanie looked up, she smiled sheepishly. I must have lost my balance. Monica tried to run to her cousin's aid. Here, let me help you, your shoe. No, I'm fine. Melanie was clearly too embarrassed and proud to ask for help, but all her friends looked at her with concern. Oh my God, one of the girls thought. That's so much blood. Another fretted. Neither was willing to say such things out loud to Melanie, though. Oh, honey, Rachel cooed. You're bleeding. What? Melanie ran to the mirror wall in the foyer, beside the front door. Oh my God, I lost a tooth? All her friends' thoughts immediately went to the first day of school, and how embarrassing it would be to show up with a missing tooth. It was a shame, Olivia thought, that none of them thought about comforting Melanie. No, they were too focused on the superficial consequences of what happened. That's what you get when you associate with monsters, Olivia thought. She turned, satisfied with herself, unable to hide her smile. So my powers didn't go away. Good. Now we can have a little fun. There seemed to be something instinctual about how her powers worked. It's like they came to her when she needed them most for herself. They didn't work when she tried to help Millie before. Or maybe she was just concentrating too hard. But maybe she could learn to unlock and control them with even more precision. As Olivia exited the foyer and floated towards the dining room, she was serenaded by Melanie's screams. Olivia smiled to herself, reinvigorated. Don't get all riled up just yet, Melanie. This was just the beginning. Once I learn how to really harness my power, you won't even stand a chance.